Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's virtual First Thursdays session. My name is Cheryl Johnson Ransaw, Director for the Office of Employee Development and Wellness Services. I'm joined by Ryan Smith, our Wellness Program Administrator, and our office is serving as the host for today's session. If this is your first time attending Virtual First Thursdays, this is a monthly event that we host, and we offer different health and wellness topics each month. And today we are very excited and pleased to offer the topic Mental Wellness Resources Panel. And we have composed a special group of panelists, subject matter experts, who will be discussing some really important items that we hope you will find beneficial. Our guest panelists today are Wandalyn Riley from the Office of Auditing and Advising Services, serving as Chief Audit Officer and Director. Jessica Bruce, who is Coordinator of Outreach for Student Wellness, the Counseling Center at Georgia State, and Lisa Cronin, who is the Senior Account Manager with Accenture Health, the external EAP vendor. I'm going to talk about just a couple of housekeeping items. This session will be recorded today, and we invite everyone to make use of the chat box. If you have questions or concerns, comments, feel free to enter those throughout the session. We will monitor today's session, and we'll pause after each presentation to give people an opportunity to address questions or concerns throughout this session. Our objectives for today begin with promoting Ethics Awareness Week at Georgia State. This is an annual observance that we're helping to kick off, and this week will be observed November the 4th through the 10th. We will be providing information on mental wellness resources for Georgia State students, faculty, and staff. Ethics Awareness Week has a sub-theme around mental wellness, and so we're really interested in trying to offer some important information for all groups at Georgia State. And last, we want to review our EDWS resources and upcoming events that we provide for our community. Our first panelist will be Wandalyn Riley, and she will provide some really important information. She's the spearhead for the annual Ethics Awareness Week, and she will share a great deal of information about it and her office as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Wandalyn.
Good morning, Cheryl. Thank you so much for the introduction and for the support of Ethics Awareness Week and all of the things that we have going on there, as well as, hang on, let's see, sure. As well as providing for some of the events that are happening in that week as well. So as Cheryl mentioned, in terms of our theme, is Georgia State for All, rooted in our values. As many of you know, back in April, the university, as a part of its strategic plan, approved values for the university. And each year, as we are thinking about ethics and how we operate ethically together, we have a sub-theme, and it's varied over the years. This year, mental wellness appeared to be one that was very timely for us as an organization. So when we think about mental wellness, I'm one that would say this is not an area where I have lived and worked, but I'm interested always in research, and so went out to figure out who's talking about mental wellness, and mental wellness particularly as it relates to the workplace, and what are some of the things that we as an organization may be able to do. The World Health Organization did some research around mental health at work, and relatively recent. This is from 2022 in terms of their piece. So they gave us a place of trying to define this mental health, this state of mental well-being that allows us to be able to cope with the stresses that come in our lives, to realize our ability to learn well, to work well, and be able to contribute to the community. When we think about poor mental health and its impact on person's ability to think or their cognitive skills, behavioral, emotional, as well as social and relational well-being, this impacts our capacity to function. It also has an impact on physical health, and then our personal identity and well-being as it relates to work. Being mindful of the fact that when we come to work, we bring our whole self to work. Some think that, oh, we can compartmentalize and leave X, Y, and Z in a different box or compartment, but not true. We bring our whole self really to everything that we engage in. And so a person's capacity to participate in work can be impaired in terms of not feeling mentally well. And so there's a reduction in productivity, a reduction in the performance, and then a reduction in the ability to work safe and to retain information and to gain work. And so these are some of the whys it's important for organizations to stop, particularly Georgia State, and think more proactively about mental wellness and what place it holds in our organization. I think of it really as a hierarchical kind of thing. When we're looking at mental wellness, first we have to think about just the health. That's the financial health in terms of, do I feel like I have enough in order to support the things that I need? Do I have time? Is my time well managed? Is my time well balanced? Do I have mental health? Do I have physical health? Then we think about connection in terms of, as an individual, am I able to be myself, to be truly who I am in my engagement with others? Is there a sense of belonging? Is there a space for me? Do I feel connected to the community that I am engaged in? And do I feel valued? Do I feel appreciated for the contributions that I'm able to make to the community? And then there's this meaning. Is there a purpose? Do I understand what the purpose is? What is it that I am working towards? And how does that fit in to with what the group or the organization is working towards? Do I have the capacity to have an impact in terms of what's going? Can I make a difference? Can I affect change within the organization? And when we're able to achieve those things as we move up to the hierarchy, that's how I would define well-being in terms of our mental wellness and being this holistically well person. When we think of some of the benefits as it relates to work or to school, thinking of lowering the absenteeism. If I'm not mentally well, then there are other things that happen that cause me to be ill and need to be away from the office. There's another term that I've heard discussed is about presenteeism. I am here in the room physically, but mentally I may not be present, and so I'm unable to give my best. Mental wellness at work increases productivity. I'm able to focus on the things that I need to focus on and move work forward. It's cost effective. If people are out of the office and you're having to substitute, or people are missing information, then there is a cost associated with that. Boosting retention. When people feel well and they feel that the organization supports that well-being, then employees and students and others feel like I belong, and so they tend to stay with the organization. It helps with communication. Do people feel that they have a voice, that their voice is heard, and not just heard, but their voice is valued in the workplace or in the school place? And so it improves communication. It reduces the risk of unresolved issues. There may be things that are happening amongst people that cause us to not fully engage because there are these unresolved issues, or a feeling that it can't be resolved because perhaps there isn't a safe space. And so in for-profit organizations, it talks about, moving us forward in terms of being more profitable. But for us as a nonprofit agency, it may be one that says, are we able to more fully achieve the mission that we have? There are some psychosocial risks related to mental health at work. As a person that comes out of audit and focuses on risk, it's one of the places that I go to think, well, what are the risks out there related to an organization being able to support the mental health of its community? And so this work content, task design, things where you have repetitive tasks. Does this task have a meaning? Is there clarity about the work that it is that we're doing? Are we effectively using the skill set that individuals bring to the workplace? Workload and work pace. So, and it's on both ends. If people are bored, there are other things that happen, perhaps because the workload is extremely light and not where it should be, or that the workload is an overload. And so I'm not feeling that you can keep up with those things that are going on. And is there this continual pressure that happens, or even recognizing that during high pressure times, is there additional care that's taken? The work schedule, in terms of shifting schedules or being very inflexible about the schedules, what's happening. And so thinking about the schedule. Control, in terms of dictating what it is that people have to do, or balancing that with buy-in and having people participate in the decision making of what's happening and going on. The environment and the equipment that's there. Do people have the tools that they need in order to do the jobs that they're being asked to do? Is it a space that's a comfortable space? And you may think about, is there appropriate lighting? Is there a lot of noise? What's the temperature in the space? I've gone into some offices where you see people with gloves and hats on because it's cold, and that's something that folks are focused on. The organizational culture and the function, in terms of, is there adequate amount of communication, both from down into the organization, but really also coming up from the or through the organization as well? Do we understand what the objectives are? And so that's why it's important for us as an organization to articulate the strategic plan, and then to translate that strategic plan out into various places in the organization that allow people to be able to link to that and understand what that means. Interpersonal relationships at work. And so we are a body of people. Our biggest resource is our people. And are we able to work together in an effective manner? Or are there behaviors in the workplace or in this classroom that are harmful, that cause us not to be able to work as effectively as we need to? And what is my role or your role in the organization? And again, going back to, how do we link to the mission, having that sense of purpose? What is the capacity to grow within an organization, or is there stagnation that's happening there? And then balancing this homework kind of issues or demands that are coming up, and making sure, again, because when we come into the workplace, we bring our whole selves. And so those things that are happening for us personally also have an impact on what's happening in the workspace. Then there are ways when we start thinking about, how do we work in a healthy manner? And so I was reading, and there are really these 4 areas that were talked about. One was looking at focus, and that's creating an environment that minimizes context switching. Context switching, we may think of it in terms of multitasking, but there are multiple balls that are being juggled at one time, and then being able to say, can I do all of that well? Or do I have an opportunity to be able to focus on the task at hand? Connection, in terms of creating this space that is supportive, that is inclusive, that allows the voice to be heard, where we respect and appreciate and value the person in the workplace as well. predictable flexibility. And so when we think there, it's setting boundaries, but being able to talk about needs. It's if I'm going to be available, what are the times, these different kinds of things. And we'll talk a little bit more about it later in terms of predictable flexibility. In efficient impact and being able to say, what are the priorities and how do I efficiently apply my time and other resources in order to move us towards whatever the goal is. I'm going to give a couple of examples of things that we can do in the environment that helps us create these working, healthy situations. So being present, concentrating on one task at the time, focus increases productivity, improves the job satisfaction, and reduces stress. Oftentimes now, especially when we are in the hybrid environment, people are working on multiple tasks when we're in a meeting or a gathering of us. And in doing so, can we give our best to whatever it is that's at hand? And so how are we being present? So sometimes it's thinking about how, as an individual, are you a morning person or an afternoon person? And if you're a morning person, you may want to schedule your more complex tasks earlier in the day so that you can bring your best focus and attention to that particular issue or task that you are assigning. How do we think about distractions and minimizing those distractions? Is there a safe space to be able to communicate? You know, I've set aside this time to be able to focus on X. You can help me, colleagues, by allowing me to have that time to focus on this task, and I can be present when we move away from this task or when we're actually engaging. You can leverage technology to be able to support yourself in that, making sure that you set aside some time. And then looking in terms of the deadlines that are being set. Is that a reasonable deadline in terms of what it is that we are requesting? Are people taking breaks during the day that allow them to come back and be able to focus on the task at hand? Or is it a grind and go, go, go? And so sometimes the focus wanes as we are moving forward. This connection, we feel like we're part of a safe environment. So are we investing time during meetings where we're not just talking about the task at hand, but getting to know each other? Are we celebrating each other in formal ways, whether that's personal celebrations or is that something where people have made accomplishments? And so we're celebrating those individual and group accomplishments together. Are there team building exercises that we are able to participate in? Are we providing mentorship and on-the-job coaching in terms of helping people achieve their personal goals as well as their work-related goals? Do we show appreciation? Are we thankful about what's happening? Is it something that we do in a public way and not necessarily for the university as a whole, but within the team? Are we celebrating the accomplishments of each other? And then are we building in time to ask colleagues, how are you doing? Are you okay? Is there something that's happening that, you know, it would be helpful for us to be there for you to connect with you on particular issues or topics? In terms of flexibility or predictable flexibility, it's one, thinking about, are we in control of our schedules? Have we taken sufficient time to rest and recover? Are we in a situation where we feel like we're always on and there's never this break away from the work? And is there a clear boundary that's there? And if we do, and if we're moving in that direction, how are we being transparent about the flexibility that we need or the flexibility that's in place? If a team member is going to be away, does everybody understand that the team member is away for this period of time? Team members feeling that that they aren't connected to us and we're not respecting their time away. If someone says I'm on vacation, but we are sending them lots of emails or reaching out to them and making requests of them during that break time. When are we having meetings? Is there, I call it think time. Is there a time where we say meetings are held between these hours, and as a group, we're going to agree to not have meetings during a certain time? Is everything urgent, or have we defined what is urgent? And so when we make a request for something, being able to understand, do you need it right now? Or is this something that we need to address over some more extended period of time? Then the efficient impact. And so alleviating meeting fatigue, creating the space for people to work. And so what are some ways that we can do that? Are there shorter meetings? What I find now that we're in the hybrid and more of our meetings are on team is that I can come in some days and it's back-to-back meetings all day long, and I get to about 5 o'clock and go, oh no, I didn't get breakfast or lunch. And so ways that we can do that is, what if the meeting is 45 minutes instead of an hour, or 55 minutes, or maybe it's a shorter meeting that's happening? Do we need a meeting for everything that we meet about, or can we do it with email? Everyone that we brought into the meeting, are they all needed to be there, or do we just bring the essential people that are needed? Do people have the information in advance in order to prepare for the meeting? Let's say we need to make a decision, then have we provided people with the information in order to make that decision? Are we clear about what we expect the outcomes to be? Have we documented those outcomes and then distributed that information to people who were there? Perhaps there are some additional tasks that come out of that. And then if we're having recurring meetings, is it in line with kind of healthy meeting habits? We might want to have touch points on some periodic basis to make sure, do you need any help? Is there something that you're doing that overlaps with what we're doing? Here's some things that are going forward, and I may need your help on this particular area. And then the plan for, 1 day per week where it's meeting free, perhaps, in terms of allowing for that space for personal thinking and time. And so that's really the thoughts in terms of why is it important in an organization for us to be able to support this mental health, mental well-being. One of the things related to Ethics Awareness Week is MindWise. And so the QR code here will get you to MindWise, which is a behavioral health assessment. It's free and open to all faculty, staff, and students. And so I encourage you during Ethics Awareness Week to step out there. Other things that we're doing, so our keynote address is Dr. Aldwayne Hart, where we're going to talk about mental wellness, whole self in the workplace and the classroom. And then we have faculty members that are going to participate with us as well. And so Dr. Tracy Sims is going to talk about stress and anxiety around uncertainty. We have another faculty member, or a couple of faculty members, that are going to talk about mindfulness matters and applications to improve your health, family life, and workplace balance. And so we invite you to join us there. On Thursday, we are going to combine with the food truck fair that happens each Thursday. And in Hurt Park, we're going to offer a resource fair. And so inviting you to come and to participate there, where we'll have additional information and resources for you available. One of our, Jessica, who's going to speak in just a moment, is hosting for us Mental Health 101. And so we invite you to participate in that. Cheryl and her team are doing guided meditation and chair yoga. And so continue to participate in those activities. Other things where we look at pet ownership and the benefits that it may have in terms of wellness. We'll have a session there. And then we will close out our second week with mental health first aid training. And so these are some of the activities that are happening for us during Ethics Awareness Week. And so we would encourage you to participate in those and others. If you go to gsu.edu/ethics-week, you will see a host of other activities that are happening in Ethics Week as well. So thank you for your time and attention. Cheryl, if we have time, I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you, Wendolyn, for an excellent presentation. Yes, let's pause for a couple of minutes. I don't see any questions or comments in the chat, but we do invite our attendees to enter those if you have any at this time. And we'll move on to the next presenter, but certainly if any attendees have questions pertaining to Wanda Lynn's presentation, certainly enter those comments. And we will take a few minutes at the end of our session to review any questions that were not addressed earlier. Our next presenter is Jessica Bruce, who's the coordinator of outreach for student wellness at the Counseling Center at Georgia State. Jessica, we're turning it over to you.
Hey, Jessica, we can see the presentation. I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you, though.
Okay. Hang on. Let me come closer.
There we go.
to the
Now I can
screen.
hear you.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you just have to be closer to the mic, but that sounds great now.
Okay, great. Hey everyone. My name is Jessica Bruce, and I'm the coordinator of outreach for the Counseling Center. But I also see students for counseling sessions, and so I kind of have a dual role. Half of my week is for outreach and wellness programming, and then the other half is for clinical services. And so I get to see our students in a lot of different settings and environments and mental states. And so in this presentation, we're going to discuss trends in presenting concerns for GSU students, how to identify if someone is in distress, and then how to refer them to get counseling support if they need it. All right, so how can you tell if someone is in mental health distress? A lot of our movies and shows and books and a lot of just overarching media, they depict it in a light that isn't really representative of what it looks like. We think of someone in distress, a lot of times we think of someone who is visibly sad or crying or detached from reality or even violent. And while these behaviors can and do sometimes indicate distress, they aren't all inclusive. Sometimes someone can appear calm but be screaming on the inside. And although there is no surefire way to know this, there are some things you can look out for that may signal emotional distress. And sometimes it can be in what they're not saying as well, which we'll get to a little bit later. As we all know, GSU has one of the largest diverse student bodies in the nation. With these differences in culture, race, gender, and many other characteristics can also come differences in emotional presentation. But there are some key symptoms to look out for that are associated with behavior, emotions, cognition, reactions, and a person's physical being. So for behavior, we look for marked changes in behavior. Someone that was once calm is now easily agitated, or someone who is typically social and engaged begins to isolate, getting in trouble, academic decline, changes in the use of substances, or even changes in self-care. For emotional presentations, we look for increased reactivity. So maybe they're lashing out a little bit more, increased anxiety, fear, no motivation, persistent sadness. A lot of these emotional symptoms can occur for any given reason, and a single symptom may not always be indicative of emotional distress. But that's why it's important to ask questions and not brush things off. For cognitive expressions, so expressions of suicidal thoughts. This may not always present in the specific words of, I want to die, but can sometimes come in the form of, I want to disappear. People would be better off without me. It can present as confusion or disorientation, not knowing where or who they are, catastrophic, all or nothing thinking, or even saying something like, my life is over. For some physical symptoms, we look for difficulties with sleep, which can be appropriate for the college population. So that's on a case-by-case situation. So we're looking for drastic changes. their physical presentation when you're in front of them or when you're with friends. Are they shaking? Are they trembling? Biting their nails, shifting in their seat frequently, somatic symptoms. So distress presenting physically, so like headaches, stomach issues, body aches. All of these are ways of identifying someone is in distress, and not only identifying someone else is in distress, but even in yourself. So if you ever notice any of these symptoms in yourself or someone else, that's a good indication that you or they might need some support. So a condensed version of those symptoms and referral identifiers are the 5 signs. This is a quick way to help you remember the signs of distress. If you come to any of our events, we typically have this slide in a card form to hand out, and I can send some to you as well if you're interested. So personality changes, agitation, withdrawal, poor self-care, hopelessness. All the symptom identifiers we talked about in the previous slide can be illustrated by these signs. So these are also something to look out for. So QPR stands for Question, Persuade, and Refer. And it's a suicide prevention training that we offer throughout the year. Currently, our clinicians are currently in the process of being recertified. So the USG is offering free QPR training through the end of May. They're also offering the mental health first aid course, which is a 6-hour course that helps identify signs of mental illness and substance use disorders. The QPR training is about an hour and a half, and it's more specific content on suicide prevention. The mental health training course is a little more broad in content. So scan this QR code, or you can go to the USG website to sign up. And it's free for students, faculty, and staff if you're interested. So our main goal of services is to ensure that students receive quality support when they're in need. While students are here academically, there's a large social and emotional component that goes along with being a college student. And we want to make sure that students' development is always cared for, whether it be academically, socially, mentally, or emotionally. Retention is the goal, but we want to make sure that we are tending to all of the other things that influence them and affect them as students outside of just face-to-face learning. Some of our main presenting concerns at the Counseling Center are anxiety and depression. 94% is a huge number that almost anyone can fall under when it comes to anxiety or depression at any point of our lives. You, me, especially our students. So we wanted to include these numbers to normalize the experiences of students and to give you the ability to promote services in a way that shows that students aren't alone. So here's a list of services we offer to students. Please feel free to take a picture, write our number down. Our main number is the way that you can get connected with services, and that doesn't only have to mean the regular sessions. We have psychiatrists on staff. We offer crisis support, and so even if it's after hours, on the weekend, on a holiday break, if anyone is ever in need of support, they can call our main number and they'll always be connected with a counselor, no matter the time or day. Our client advocate is someone that we refer students to who need resources for the community. And so although we aim to provide services to as many students as we can, there are times where the needs of someone is better suited for the community because then they can get long-term services. So the client advocate is someone that connects them to those long-term services. It's typically low to no cost, or if a student wants to use their insurance, we help them find someone that's covered under that. We offer consultations, and so not just for students, but for faculty and staff too. And so if there's ever anything that's going on that you have a question about or you need some support with, you just need a quick phone call or a quick drop in, please don't hesitate to call us. We offer wellness programming, so those are our events. And then we also have virtual events on social media almost every day. We have meditations, journals, Foodie Fridays with nutrition services, Wellness Wednesdays with student health promotion, We're pretty active on there, and so please feel free to follow us on Instagram. We also have Stress Less Tech, and so we have a vibroacoustic chair, and students can rent out the room. It's kind of like a relaxation room. And there's a big screen in there with a big massage chair. And if you come and you hook your phone up to it, the chair will vibrate to the beat of whatever song you're playing. And so you can rent it out for an hour or two to come in there, relax. If you need to take a nap, if you want to watch something on the screen, it's there for you. The only thing you have to do is call our main number and get on the schedule for the relaxation room. We typically have group sessions. We don't have many right now, and they're always in flux. The topics and the content are always changing. And so if you are interested or know someone that's interested in group counseling, have them call our main number just to see what we're offering at the time, because it does change. And then, of course, we have our individual counseling. And so those are those bi-weekly 8 sessions that students get for free. It's per academic year, so it's August to July. A lot of students take a break and then they come back and to work on a different topic. If someone is interested in longer term counseling after their 8 sessions, that's when we refer them to our client advocate so that they can get connected with resources in the community. And then we also have psychiatry. So if someone needs medication management or needs a new prescription or even needs an evaluation or assessment, they would have to come in for an intake first, and then they could be referred to psychiatry. We don't refer directly to psychiatry just because we need that first intake for a snapshot of what the student needs. And I'll talk a little bit more about the intake a little bit later. So we have a wide range of clinical professionals on our staff to ensure that we provide as much of a one-stop shop for students as we can. We have psychologists that can offer assessments and evaluations, psychiatrists that can prescribe medication, social workers such as our client advocate that supports case management and connections to community resources, licensed counselors such as myself who provide the ongoing therapy sessions, and we have postdoc psych fellows and interns that are working towards their doctorates who also offer clinical services, but they're under supervision. So these are some of those things that I was talking about under our services with our client advocacy and our crisis support. We also have virtual reality goggles that students can rent, not to take with them, but to use in the relaxation room. And we have a lot of different mindfulness and relaxation apps on there. And then we also have just very fun games that they can play. So that's part of our services that we offer with the relaxation room as well. Again, our main number is kind of the one-stop shop. And so if you want to get connected with any of our resources, or if you are concerned about a student for faculty or staff, or if a student needs crisis support, this is what you would always call, no matter the time or day. And so this is the intake that I was talking about. And so this is the first step for getting connected with counseling sessions or even getting connected with resources for the community. And so the intake, it's kind of like an information gathering session. And so you'll come and you'll meet with the clinician, and then you'll talk about what's bringing you to counseling, what you've been experiencing, and the ways that you need support. And then after that, you'll discuss next steps. And so if the intake person feels like counseling in the counseling center would be beneficial for you, then you'll discuss that and get connected that way. If group is something that's beneficial for the student and it's something that they've indicated that they're interested in, then we'll do that. If a community provider is best, or psychiatrist or psychologist is best, we'll go that route, but that's always something that's discussed in the intake, just to ensure that the student knows the type of support that we feel is best for them. And so we can get them connected to the most appropriate level of care. For our after hours on-call process, so this is for those crisis needs that I was talking about. And so if someone is on campus and they need immediate support, we recommend calling campus police at the 3333 extension. You can also call the counseling center at that main number. Again, no matter the time or day, even over breaks, we have counselors available 24/7. And that's for students, faculty, and staff. And so if a faculty or staff comes in contact with a student or they're reading an email or they get a voicemail and it's concerning, then they can still call our number and then we'll reach out to the student. And the student victim assistance is also available for students that have experienced any type of crime or even a car accident, just to ensure that they're getting that support that they need as well. So we're located at 75 Piedmont on the second floor. And so this is kind of the route to getting referred. And so if someone wanted sessions, then they would come in for the intake, and then they would ask for a referral in for the 8 sessions. If you wanted a referral to psychiatry, the relaxation room, or group, we could do that. CERP and Choices are courses offered by Student Health Promotion for drug and alcohol awareness for students. And then we can also refer to Student Health Promotion for more of that kind of psychoeducation piece, or student victim assistance for those students that have been victims of a crime. So we offer different types of programming by request. That can be for a specific topic. The topics are on the next slide. Or it can be for an event that you're having. We have resource tablings for many different events and really enjoy collaborating with departments and student organizations. We did a video game day collaboration a few months ago with the Perimeter Student Engagement Department. And it was a lot of fun. And so I don't want you to think it has to be just like workshops for mental health. We like to be active. And so if you wanted like a de-stress event or a stress management event, or an event where we come and we offer the virtual reality headsets for your group or your department, that's also something that we can do. And so if you're ever interested in any of our events, these are some of the topics that we offer for workshops. And so you can either email me if you're interested, or you can go on the Counseling Center website and go to wellness programming, and then there will be an electronic form that you can fill out. After you submit it, it'll come to me, and then I'll reach out to you, and then we can finish up working out the details. Like I said, we are very active on Instagram, and we could honestly use the followers. And so if you are interested, please consider following us on Instagram. We're also very active on PIN. And so all of our events are always listed on PIN if it's for the entire university. And we try to list them months in advance so that you can plan out what you want to attend. And so Be Well Panthers is kind of like the university's health and wellness umbrella. And so under that umbrella, we have the Counseling Center, Student Health Promotion, Student Victim Assistance, the Health Clinic, and Nutrition Services. And so you'll see a lot of our content at our tablings or events, and then also on social media. Some of these departments do have their own social media accounts, and of course they do their own events. But the Be Well Panthers is kind of like our central hub for everyone. Our wellness programming reaches a large number of students because anyone from any campus can participate. So we're really proud of and happy about the volume of students we're able to support. We are aiming to offer more events on the perimeter campuses just to make sure that they feel part of this kind of central hub as well. But anytime we can't be on the physical campus, we always offer a virtual component to ensure that everyone can participate. Together All is one of the resources that we offer for students. I pitch it as kind of like a mental health Facebook, but it's not quite like that. It's completely anonymous. The only thing you have to do is sign up with your student email address, but it doesn't allow you to sign up with your actual name. And so it asks for like a pseudonym or an alias or something like that. And then when you're on there, they have walls, and you can like post different things. If you want to post pictures or songs or even thoughts. They have blogs. They have mindfulness activities, and then it's also monitored by mental health professionals. And so if anyone ever expresses anything concerning, there's always someone there to catch it and reach out or to alert us and let us know. So please take a screenshot of that or a picture and go to that QR code to sign up. A lot of students really like it. The CRC offers various support programs designed to help students in recovery maintain their health and excel academically. Weekly in-person substance use recovery meetings are open to Georgia State students and the larger community on Tuesdays through Friday, I believe. The meetings are in Student Center West, room 482, and students and staff can email, is it listed on there? It is crc@gsu.edu to learn more about the resources and how to get involved. Panther Strong is kind of like a pocket resilience app. They have different activities and tasks and goals on there to help you get motivated and increase that motivation. And they also have psychoeducation on there about financial literacy, tips and coping skills for reducing anxiety and depression. It's not a substitute for therapy. It's just a supplement. And so all of this in a nutshell is to support students with being in control of their academic journey and having success while here at Georgia State. Like I said, the academic journey doesn't only include grades, but also a large social component and how the students see themselves and the people around them here on campus and even outside of campus. So our goal is to help make this as fulfilling of a journey for them as possible. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me. And then I want to give everyone a second to ask any questions if you have them.
Thank you, Jessica, for that great presentation. A lot of good resources for the students. There are a few questions in the chat box. I think if we can address those, that may be some quick answers before we go on to Lisa. First question was, is the Stress Less Tech only on the downtown campus?
Right now, yes. There isn't a lot of space allocated on perimeter campuses for that, but we are looking into ways of expanding. So keep checking back.
Okay. And a follow-up to that, when you say rent, is there a cost associated?
No, it's just scheduling it for that hour, so reserving it, no cost. Everything we offer is covered under student fees, and so it's 100% free.
Right. And last question, where's the counseling center for perimeter students?
It depends on the campus. I can get a list of, we have a counseling center on the Clarkston campus, the Dunwoody campus, and the Alpharetta campus. Those are the only campuses that we have in-person sessions. And so I'll get all of that in a list and I will send it to you. And then that way you can send it to the participants here.
Great. All right, thank you very much.
No problem.
We're going to keep it moving. We've had some great presentations and I know our time is, the clock's ticking and we want to be respectful of time, but our last presenter on the panel is Lisa Cronin, the Senior Account Manager with Accenture Health. I'll turn it over to you, Lisa.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for including me today. We are going to be talking about a wonderful resource for your employee well-being. It's called your Employee Assistance Program, and I'm going to take you through it. Accenture Health is the provider of your EAP. We used to be called Kepro, so if you've heard that name, we're now Accenture Health. And same program, same contact information, but just new name for us, the provider. I like to start out with talking about what is an EAP, and this fits in so nicely with what has been discussed previously already. An EAP, or an Employee Assistance Program, is provided by an employer to its employees to help them build and maintain their personal and professional well-being. So it's all about emotional well-being. So that just kind of level sets what we're going to talk about today. And in your employee assistance program, as well as criteria. So the EAP is provided to all University System of Georgia employees. The only criteria is the employee must work 20 hours a week. So all employees have it, and not everybody's really aware that they have it. So help spread the word. What's neat about the EAP is household members. Anybody who lives within the household of the employee is eligible. An EAP looks at potential stressors in an employee's life and wants to develop services and resources to help mitigate that stress. And certainly if people that are living under your roof are stressed, that impacts the employee stress. So that's the reason these are extended to all household members. Neither the employee nor the household member has to be in a USG healthcare program. It's totally insurance agnostic. That has no bearing on this. Dependents are covered up to the age of 26, and they don't have to live at home. And then finally, children under the age of 14 aren't eligible for individual counseling. They can get counseling with an adult. So important facts, you don't have to sign up or join. You just get it by being an employee who works 20 more hours per week. It's available 24/7, 365. It is always staffed by a live clinician. Everything's free and everything's confidential. We are held both ethically and morally to maintain confidentiality. This is the most important slide right here, how to contact the EAP for questions and services. You call this number. I tell everybody, put it in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's going to be on every one of the slides as we go forward. So 4 free counseling sessions. Included in your EAP are 4 free counseling sessions per issue. So it's not just one bucket of 4. There's multiple buckets of 4 as long as they are separate and distinct issues. So for example, say you're struggling with grief, you could call in, get a referral for 4 sessions, and then say 6 months later you're having some marital issues, you could call in and get 4 issues for that. Let's go to that slide. I'm sorry, I was at the wrong slide. So all of the issues must be separate and distinct. You can get the counseling virtual or in person, which certainly helps free up some flexibility if you opt for virtual counseling. And EAP counseling is meant to be short-term. So it's really meant to help develop a plan and have resources to help deal with that emotional health issue that you may be having. If it's deemed that additional counseling is needed, that's when you would segue into your self-pay model or insurance model. Referral to daily living. We can give you referrals to vetted companies and services that can help you with home repairs, pet sitting, planning for travel, apartment seekers, and moving. So keep that in mind if you need any of those services. A really popular part of the EAP is a free legal consult. You get 1 free legal consult per year with an attorney. And if you retain that attorney upon the end of the consult, you get a reduction in the attorney's fees. All area of laws are covered except employment law. This is a great resource to use to get a will. We really encourage that. You also get a free financial consultation, 1 free financial consultation per year with a financial coach. If you continue to work with them, you also get a reduction in fees. It's great to talk about any financial situation you may be having in your personal life. We also provide referrals for family care. So if you need help finding childcare or elder care or home health care or community resources, we will provide referrals to services to help you deal with and navigate through these issues. And again, the number is on all of the slides, and that's where you go for questions or to get referrals to any of the services. We've been looking at your personal life. Let's look professionally a few minutes. So for managers, they get unlimited access to our team that is referred to as the management services team. And it's a resource for supervisors to contact if they have any questions regarding managing their team or HR related. It's in no way meant to replace your own HR team. It's just an additional resource. We provide webinars throughout the whole year that focus on a wide variety of emotional and mental health topic. They're conducted live by a subject matter expert. And then finally, when an episodic traumatic event happens, and unfortunately it's generally an employee death, we can provide up to 2 hours of counseling on site or virtually for those employees that have been impacted by that traumatic event. It provides a safe space for the employee to go to talk about their feelings and help begin process what's happened. There's an informative website, www.usg.mylifeexpert.com. It's full of great content that is updated regularly. It's very easy to access. When you go there, you'll get this screen. You can either use this to log in or create your own login. It's got some great legal and financial templates as well, so a really good additional resource. So a real quick review of all the things that are in your EAP program, again, all focused on the employee's emotional well-being. Those up to 4 free counseling sessions per issue per year. The referrals to daily living services, the 1 free legal consultation, the 1 free financial consultation, those referrals to help for the care of our loved one, childcare, elder care, home health, community resources, the workplace services that management services team access for supervisors, the webinars we provide, and the critical incident support for traumatic events that happen that impact employees in the workforce. And then that website. So again, I tell everybody, take note of the number 844-243-4440. I put it in your cell phone. You just never ever know when you're going to need it. This is a great program. Somebody is always staffing the line, so you will speak to an actual clinician when you call in, and they will then refer you on to whatever services you may need. So I certainly can take any questions you have, but keep in mind of all the great resources in the EAP.
Thank you, Lisa. Great presentation, great resources, obviously, for faculty and staff and eligible dependents. No questions in the chat box. We're going to keep it moving with our clock ticking, and Ryan Smith, our Wellness Program Administrator, will close out with some additional information on EDWS tools and resources and upcoming events.
All right, thank you, Cheryl. So the first thing we want to highlight are some of our EDWS resources. We do want to point out that we offer one-on-one health coaching. We offer health coaching on the topics of nutrition as well as stress management. So if you're interested in working on one of those topics and setting up an appointment, you can call 404-413-3342. We also offer faculty and staff assistance, or FASTA. FASTA is an excellent resource if you are experiencing any sort of issue, whether it's work-related or something in your personal life. FASTA is a great way to get help and get assistance for managing that issue. To schedule an appointment, you can email fasta@gsu.edu or call that same phone number, 404-413-3342. We also want to highlight the emergency number for any crisis situations that may arise. That number is available 24/7, and that number is 404-413-3357. Additionally, there's Therapy Assistance Online, which is a well-being program and tool that allows you to access some mental health resources, as well as things like meditations and other interesting tools You can access that through the link on screen, and we'll be sure to send out a copy of today's presentation so that you can find that. But it's also on the HR GSU website under the Wellbeing and Inclusion tab. Finally, we want to highlight the tobacco cessation program. If you currently use tobacco, quitting is one of the healthiest things you can do. For more information, you can call our phone number. You do not have to do it alone. It is certainly a difficult task, and we have a program here to support you through that process. We want to highlight, as Cheryl mentioned, this is our first Thursday's presentation, and accompanying each presentation, we also set up and do a health screening. So today from 12:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., we're going to be located in Urban Life in the West Exhibit Hall. We'll be doing blood pressure, BMI, and body fat percentage health screenings. So if you're interested in getting some health information, stopping by for that health screening, or just saying hi, we'll be there in the Urban Life West Exhibit Hall from 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. This will be the last health screening that we have for 2023. We'll resume with them in 2024, of course, but this is a good opportunity to sort of get that little data point, that check-in before we head into the holidays, so we encourage you to stop by. A few upcoming events we want to highlight. Next Thursday, November 9th, we'll have a live cooking demonstration at noon. Friday, November 10th, we'll have a special guided meditation and yoga session. This was mentioned earlier in Wanda Lynn's presentation. This is for Ethics Week, so we're going to actually be on the Atlanta campus for this one in 25 Park Place, room 2343. You can, of course, attend it online as well if you prefer, but this is a great opportunity to attend a live session of it in person. Monday, November 13th, we'll have a mindful moment, which is an opportunity to practice a mindfulness exercise. That'll be at 11 a.m. And then Tuesday, November 28th, Cheryl will lead the Snack and Share support group from noon to 1 p.m. And the last event we want to highlight is we do have a special event for the month of November. We're going to be doing a Panther Trails Wellness Walk here on the Atlanta campus. It will be Thursday, November 16th at 10 a.m. We're going to meet at the Pettit Science Center lobby. That's 100 Piedmont Ave. And we're going to be joining some campus and community partners and just celebrating the Atlanta campus Panther Trails by doing a special wellness walk along the state Capitol Trail. So we're expecting the weather to be nice. It's been nice and cool lately. The walk is about a mile long, so nothing too long, but enough to, chat with people, mingle a little bit with your coworkers, and get in some steps and healthy exercise. So we really want to encourage people to come out to that. We're going to have some light refreshments available for participants as well. So all of these events are posted on the GSU web calendar. You can register for them there. But as I mentioned, we'll be sending out a copy of this PowerPoint so that you'll have access to the links and resources that were included. Finally, our contact information is available on the screen. We have our regular office hours Monday through Friday. We are located at 75 Piedmont Ave, Suite 360, and our website is available on the screen as well. So we'll pause here just for a minute, see if we have any additional questions we can address before we wrap up today's session.
There was one question earlier after Wanda Lynn's presentation. Someone asked a question about the line between personal and work questions, and I actually was wondering if that might be clarified some, but that was addressed to Wanda Lynn.
So yes, there are some questions that as a manager, supervisor, you perhaps aren't able to ask, but you are able to ask, how are you doing? Is there anything I can help you with? So I'm not asking you specifically to tell me what an issue is, but I am asking a question that makes myself available to someone for them to be able to share and have a conversation. From colleague to colleague, if you're not the person's manager or supervisor, there's a great deal more flexibility. I will use my office as an example where we talk on a regular basis and people are more open in terms of sharing what's going on in their outside life, if you will. But we're a small unit. And so people have developed a level of trust and openness that they feel comfortable talking about what's happening more holistically. And we're able to celebrate. Somebody graduated, somebody did X, Y, and Z, they're on the basketball team, what have you. So yes, there are some places where there are guidelines. And if that's a specific question for you, I would recommend reaching out to Monica Javia and her team in employee relations, where they can provide more information about what you, as a manager or supervisor, you can and cannot ask. Again, it doesn't necessarily preclude you from a conversation if someone initiates that conversation or makes you aware of something. Is that helpful? Or I forgot, you guys are on chat, not speaking. So, okay.
Thank you for that response. So that attendee actually messaged me privately and let us know that they had to step out for a work-related task, but we are recording this session, so they'll be able to hear your answer when we send out that recording. So thank you
Awesome.
again for addressing that question.
Mhm.
And then I see we have a question that came through directed at Lisa. And the question is, on the benefits website, is CapTrust the company that sets up the meetings for setting up a will?
So no, that's totally separate from, the EAP is independent of any other benefits that you have. So the way that you take advantage of any of the services and get any of the referrals is call the number and just ask for the legal consultation, and they will refer you to our legal partner, and you can have that free consultation either in person or on the phone.
All right, it does not look like we have any additional questions at this time. So I'd just like to give another huge thank you to all of our panelists and presenters for taking time out of your schedule to share these incredibly valuable resources with us today. And I know those sentiments are echoed in the chat from our participants as well. So thank you everyone for attending today's presentation. We'll be sending a follow-up email with some of the resources as well as a link to the recording, because we know some people had to leave early or may not have been able to attend the full session. So as a reminder, we're going to be set up doing our health screenings today in the Urban Life West Exhibit Hall starting at 12:30. So we encourage you to come by. And with that said, we hope everyone has a great rest of their day and an enjoyable weekend. Thank you.